Hello and welcome to my first video for the Lax Development channel. A little bit of background, just as it's the first video. My name is Matthew Tom, and I set up this YouTube channel really as mainly for the York Uni Lacrosse Club, as somewhere I could put videos and the club could put videos for people developing within the club. So mainly, this came out of the fact that I am one of the new dev coaches this year. So I wanted to bring something to the club that could be used in the future, and just somewhere that everyone could get information and remind themselves on certain rules and information about the game, instead of just having that readily accessible is, I think, something really important. So anyway, we'll get on with the first video today. So this is a very basic one today. It's just sort of an introduction to the pitch and some basics when it comes to those sort of rules and stuff like that. Like, it's something we don't really necessarily talk about all the time in training, but it's something that is very important. So we'll start with this. So as you can see here, we've got a lacrosse pitch. I'm going to go through first some of the basics of the lines. So we've got the back lines here, and as you can see, we have the goals here. As you can see, the back line is behind the goals. So in lacrosse, unlike some sports, you can actually go behind the back of the goal as a totally accessible thing in the game, as long as you don't go off the back lines. We also have here, we have two restrainers. This basically sets the pitch into three quarters. So at the beginning of the game, this is how we're set up before we do something called a face-off. That's basically how you start each quarter, typically, and how you start after every goal is scored. So we have it set up here where we have three midfielders from each team in the midfield. Makes sense. And then on each person's side, you have a goalie and three defenders. And then you have three attackers of the opposition on that side. Now, before the whistle is blown, the midfielders has to be out here. Apart from the two face-off men, they are over the ball. In another video, we'll go through the face-off in a bit more detail and about how those two men there work on that. So we have the three midfielders from each team in the middle. At this point, no one is allowed to move over the restrainer. So none of these attackers or defenders or goalie are allowed to move over the restrainer. You can only have three people from each team in that midfield at any one time. When the face-off is called, so when whistle's blown, these midfielders who are out here behind this line are able to move in and help with the ground ball and assist with that. So what happens when a ground ball is taken? So when one of the teams get possession of the ball after the face-off starts, possession is called. And as we can see here, at this point, you may move across the restrainer. And at this point, the offside rule and the rules on how many players stops being the restrainer and it becomes the halfway line. So it changes there. So either one of these teams can move over into this section, but not necessarily over this halfway line. So as we see here, the black team has gotten the ball. Possession has been called. They've come up here, and this attacker has decided to just cross over. And that is completely fine. Moving on. So now I'm going to go through the offsides. Like I said, in certain situations, once the face-off is called, it's the halfway line is basically what determines whether or not you're offside. So the rule is, in your defensive half, you're allowed 7 players. So that's the goalie and 6 defenders. And in your attacking half, you're only allowed 6 players. So it's just because we haven't got a goalie, obviously, in your attacking half. So as we see here, in this restrained area, in the attacking third, it's fine. We've got 7 defenders. We've got 6 attackers. But the black team have decided one of their attackers has gone over onto the other half. So that means that is a black offside. Now, if, as we can see here, the yellow team has possession of the ball, this means black go man down. So one of their team has to go off and kneel in the subbing area until their penalty's up. We'll go through a bit more on that in another video or later on in this video. So what if yellow goes offside? So here we have yellow go offside. Now yellow have possession of the ball at this point, so it's very simple. It just goes to black ball. So typically with a lot of fouls, if the team that got fouled, the team that breaks the rule has possession of the ball, typically it just means the ball goes over to the side. And if they do have possession of the ball, it normally means they lose a player. That's typically mainly to do with being offside. Yes, in this scenario, they've got now 7 attackers. Crease violation. So, if you've been on the pitches, you'll notice there is a circle around the goal. This is called the crease. The only people allowed in the crease are the defending half, the defending team, and the goalie, obviously. So defenders happily move through that crease all you want. It's an advantage defenders have, especially when playing close to the goal. We can cut through the crease and stuff like that. As we can see here, this attacker 3 has tried to dodge around this D3. He's done a good job. He's got around him, but he stepped into the crease. So a whistle will be blown by the ref, and crease violation just means yellow, get the ball, and then play continues. We're going to do a little animation here. So we're in an open format that we talked about later. And M6 thinks he's got a good rip. He's got a bit of space from the midfielder on the yellow team there. So he's going to rip it at goal. He rips it, but he misses. So it goes off. So what will happen there is when a shot is taken, referees will typically call shot. So everyone knows it's a shot. At this point, if it goes off the back line, whoever's team is closest to where the ball went off on the back line when it goes off gets possession. So when a teammate shoots a shot at goal, it's imperative that people near the back just sprint back. This allows those sort of riskier, high-powered, far-away shots to be more viable because it means you're keeping possession. It doesn't matter if they miss because you've still got possession. It's why you'll often hear me say, I'd rather you miss the goal than the goalie catch it. Because then we at least have possession still. We haven't lost anything. So A3 here, for the black teams, is furthest to the back, so he gets possession of the ball in this scenario. So I'm going to quickly go through the subbing gate as one final little bit. So in lacrosse, it's quite a physical game. We have rolling subs, so you can sub whenever you want, as much as you want. All you have to do is there's sort of a subbing gate on one half of the pitch, and then one team will have this sort of half, the other team will have this half, and all that means that if this yellow wanted to come off, he'd come off, and only when he stepped over that line, a new yellow team member could run on. So it's very important to use the subs to keep fresh legs and to be, really being able to, especially for midfield, keeping them fresh is very important. But as well, it's also important to know when to sub. So you should only sub if you have possession of the ball. Even if you're even if you're injured, try and hold it out until we get possession, and then call yellow is what we do in York. And yellow just normally means just hold the ball, take a settle it. Typically, it's so someone can sub on or off, but it's also just a general rule for controlling the pace of the game that is very important. So I think that's everything for today's video. I was just going to go quickly through what we went through today. So I went through the basics of the pitch, face-off and possession, the offside rule, the crease, missed shots, and subbing. Thank you very much for watching this first video. It's quite a short one today. It's just some of the basics just to start off. But I hope to see you soon with a new video.